Randy here, K7AGE. I imagine many of us spent many hours listening to W1AW code practice back when Morse code was required to get your amateur radio license. I know when I was working on my novice in general, I spent many an evening listening to QST DE W1AW coming across the amateur radio bands. I was fortunate enough to be in the Hartford area this week on a business trip, and I was able to spend the morning over at ARRL headquarters, viewing the headquarters building, and also taking a tour and operating at the W1AW radio station. It's a very nice station. So sit back and watch the rest of the video as we take a tour around the facilities at ARRL headquarters in Newington, Connecticut. Here I am standing in front of the sign, in front of ARRL. This is the main building, which is basically offices. In the lobby here, you can see they have all the ARRL publications and books for sale. They also have a nice collection of some old radios on display. Some very interesting things to look at here. This is a Kennedy universal receiver. I don't build them like that anymore. Here's looks like a receiver and a transmitter, probably from a QST article. This is a DeForest multi-wave tuner. What's interesting here is all these coils out here on the end of the radio. Here's a Helicrafters SX100 receiver. Man, it looks like it's brand new. The Wolfhong. It doesn't show up very well in the display case, but here's a photo. This was discovered by the old man himself and has something to do with rotten operators. Here's a Rettysnitch, which is also part of the lore. Do a search on ARRL and you can learn more about that. This is part of the library with QSTs and handbooks and many other magazines. This is the laboratory where construction projects can be made and measurements. And this is a screened or sealed room for doing the product reviews, all sorts of RF test gear, and where to do all the measurements and such. And on the bench here is the Ten-Tec Omni 7, which was in, I think it's the July QST. The QSL Bureau, if anybody works with DX, you're familiar with this. These are all the bins for all the different countries for when we mail out our cards. They go here and they get sorted out and placed in all of these various bins. This is why they want them in the order that you see on the ARRL site. Some baskets here waiting to be sorted through. Come out of there, go into all the bins. When the bins are filled, they go into these boxes, and these are being shipped to the member organizations all around the world. I saw South Africa, Austria, Czech, all sorts of places getting cards. Here's the front of the W1AW radio station building. This was refurbished a few years ago, so it's in real nice shape. Nice green grass. Very nice. Everybody would like to have a station with a lot of this. Nice antenna farm. This is a stack here of a lot of monobander beams. You can see they're side mounted because of the bulletins and such. They need simultaneous antennas for the simultaneous transmission. So these are many HF beams with fixed direction. Here's another stack of some more antennas. They're rotatable on another tower. This tower has the VHF, UHF 6 meters to 450 and such, plus some side mounted antennas. Tower 3. And the last tower here is for the satellites. This has azimuth and also elevation control, so you can tilt the antennas up and have them track. and some other antennas and side mounted and all sorts of things going on here. Now we'll go inside the station. Of course, the station's under the watchful eye of Hiram, Percy, Maxim, the founder of ARRL. No poor operating in the station. In the lobby here was his 1 kilowatt, 80 meter spark gap transmitter. It's been a little bit of damage during its Hamfest tour, so it's not operational these days, but that must have made quite a racket on the bands. This was an interesting transmitter up on the top of a display case. You can see all the variable capacitors there, the power tubes, square capacitor plates. A little bit different. A Heintz Haufman. This is a reproduction. It was original was destroyed in a flood. This is the bank of transmitters and amplifiers, actually transceivers. Those are a lot of ICOM Pro 3s or Pro 756 Pros there with Harris commercial power amplifiers. Again, one radio, one amplifier for each band. This is the control console to control this for the audio playback, some equalization and such for the simultaneous transmission. The vintage AM station, a Johnson transmitter, and a national receiver. They have 3 studios for guest operators or any type of other general operating, and these rooms have usually several transceivers. Looks like a 765 and an FT2000 possibly there. There's a Kenwood 480. Of course, any of those antennas can go through that patch panel. Here's another studio. Looks like receiving some weather satellite photos. An AEA DSP-232. I had one of those TNCs, the white box with the red horizontals on it. 781 ICOM transceiver, kind of a classic. One of the 3 studios here in the W1AW building. It's basically a quiet day here, just myself and a friend. We happened to be in town for some meetings yesterday, so we just had the tour through the headquarters building, and now we're over here in the radio station. I'm using one of the rooms that has a Yaesu Mark V running a 5-element monobander up at about 100 feet here. So, and there's a Pro 3 sitting next to me here, and some other radios. So they have kind of like one of everything here. Go ahead. Well, that's about all the time I had. Hope you enjoyed the quick tour of ARRL and W1AW. If you get the chance, you're in the Hartford, Connecticut area, spend a morning or an afternoon at the station. You will enjoy it.